Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Wow, Bitcoin is continuing to sell off. Actually, it seems to establish itself in the region at the moment between that 33k support and the 34.5k resistance levels. And yeah, the downward pressure is high in the market. It is very high. It is so high that we haven't even seen that corrective move up that I thought we could be seeing. So we are going down faster, which I like, to be honest, because the faster we finish this overall correction off, the better, I think, for everybody. You know, at some point, as soon as the price has reached its targets, we will see naturally a sentiment shift again to the upside, and we will see that the correction is going to finish. But I think we are not there yet. We are still holding above 29k. I think we need to get into that target area that I indicated. Together with Bitcoin, we see various altcoins, of course, come down as well. They don't react as badly as they would normally do with such a drop, but I think a lot of that was already done on the weekend before the last weekend, right? So we had significant price or value decreases and price depreciation of various altcoins. So it is now quite moderate what is going on. So let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. Yeah, Bitcoin coming down here very, very strong. It has moved now, I think, into some kind of a descending wedge. Yeah, it looked like a bit of a broadening wedge before, but with its latest touch point down here, we can now draw it as a descending wedge, which again would be a bullish breakout pattern. Before we had here some kind of a broadening wedge, but we didn't really have enough touch points for that, and it doesn't seem to adhere to it, at least not yet. Yeah, I think on the way up we could find some resistance there, but at the moment we have 3 touch points down there, or 4 even, and 2 up there, and that allows us to draw this descending wedge, which again is a bullish. Well, to talk about bullishness is not the right place at the moment, but it is still a breakout pattern that would normally break out to the upside. For example, towards the end of a price dump, yeah, towards the end of a corrective move down or an impulsive move down, we can see these patterns, which would then indicate here at some point that we could see a move to the upside. But of course, support and resistance are support and resistance until they break out. Now that we have actually come into the region between, below 34.5, which was a very important support level. If I zoom out, I mentioned that a few times, it's here, that wave low. And also here we had support, yeah, and probably in the past as well. But this was an important support, and we're now heading to the previous low that we saw here on the 24th of January. That is just below 33k. That is the next key support level. As mentioned in the last video, when we get there, this is the last straw where it could turn around before we, I think, get into the target area here. We'll see. That is definitely a good opportunity for it to turn around because it is a significant support level as well. If we take a look at that, at the wedge here, we can see that we have come down quite a bit. We have actually below that 34.5k level. This was the candle that came down here just before the weekly candle close. Let's take a look at the 1 hour chart, how that looked. So yeah, we broke below it just before sort of midnight, and then we have held below it. So the 1 hour candles came down here again at around 2 o'clock UTC, quite a strong one down. And of course, the daily candle, what does that mean? It closed below it. And what does it mean? The weekly candle also closed below it. These are quite bearish signals, and it just confirms my overall view that the downtrend isn't over yet. Yeah, the overall downtrend, and that we really should see us get into this yellow target area, as I've been saying that for 6 months now, I think, since November pretty much. And we've also had now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red closed candles on the weekly in a row. I think we haven't had that since 2014 or earlier. So also this quite bearish, especially here the last candle, huge. It's not like the downtrend is slowing down. It actually increased in momentum down. And I think we can really say that, these things are playing out. You know, we see the head and shoulders pattern we talked about play out finally. Yeah, this head and shoulders here on the chart We did not get above the neckline again throughout this period here. We've got a bear flag here, yeah, as well, what we talked about. We've got the Elliott Wave count that is pushing us down, irrespective if we will reach here this small wave 2 target area or not, because what I still expect here at some point is a corrective move up, where we could then get into this target area, because what I still expect here is a corrective move up, where we could get into this green target area before we get the final sell-off. The reason for that is that on the daily we're getting lower and lower on the RSI, on the relative strength index. We are now pretty much at 30, still a little bit higher, maybe around 30 and a half, 31, but we are now very, very close to being oversold. I would already consider that oversold. Yeah, it is now really, really borderline here, and that means the downside potential, even though we dropped lower in the past, this has only happened on a number of occasions, yeah, on a few occasions. And at some point here, when you approach the 30 level, even though it doesn't always stop directly at 30, it can drop a little bit lower. We are here getting really, really close to being oversold. However, we can't see the MACD turnaround yet, so also here the downward pressure is still at play. On the 4 hour, even here, no recovery really yet. So yeah, overall we need to wait until the market slows down the downtrend here. As I always say, a downtrend is at play until it is stopped, until we make a new swing high, for example. We need to break the previous swing high. So here that would mean at least we would need to get above here this white resistance zone again. You can see that in white here, highlighted these two horizontal resistance levels around 35K. That's what we need to get above. We've got one here at 34.8, 34.9. That is at least a small swing high that we had. Even better would be a move here above 36.6K, above the beginning of the wedge and back into this channel here to the upside to see some temporary upside. Until then, you know, the downtrend is at play until it is broken. Next chance for a reversal, in my opinion, at the 33K level. I think we are going to see this before we have a chance to reverse. Should we drop even lower? Where is support? Let's take a quick look. What would be the next support below 33K? What we can do is just add the VPVR to the chart here, and then we can take a look if there is anything. And what you can actually see, and that is quite striking actually, that below 33K the historical volume decreases, so there isn't any massive support actually. I mean, the next support would be, in my view, here. This is the low, so sort of in this region around 30 to 29K. This is where we have a small spike on the VPVR. This is also where we have here from back in June, July, these lows, okay? And the spike here, the swing low, is at around 29.5 back in July 21. So very exciting time. What is a bit concerning is that there is just nothing there when we get into the target area. There is just historical volume, it's just non-existent. So we have to rely on Fibonacci levels and the 200-week moving average to stop the downtrend here. There isn't really a lot there. So you can fall like through a black hole, right? So that will be very, very interesting. And then historical volume, there's a volume spike here just below 20K. So that could obviously stop the downtrend if we are really in a capitulation phase. It's getting really interesting. Still believe we see a corrective move to the upside here before we get into the target area. But personally, I wouldn't have a problem with getting into the target area straight away, because it would mean that we have a chance to finish the correction off faster. But the chances for that are quite slim in my view, especially as Bitcoin is now getting oversold, and the drop from here to 29K would be quite a lot when we are already oversold. So I'll definitely keep you updated here about Bitcoin. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership and maybe even the trading course I'm currently uploading onto the website. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.